Take a chance, take a chance, take a chance on sobriety. Hey, Sober Cappy here. Coming to you live once again from Van Gogh's Field with Irises. This is my second official video. I don't know if they're going to get posted this way, but I think it's funny because I do eventually plan to mix up the backgrounds and my wardrobe. The last one, same background, and I wore an almost identical light blue zip up. But, you know, it's funny. I'm coming off owning a pizza shop where I've said never should have bought one, being a perfectionist, and not sure doing a podcast and videos are a good idea being a perfectionist either. So the struggle has been real. I'm going to talk about that on another podcast, but it includes the background and the wardrobe and the lighting, never mind the content. But today I wanted to talk about, a great quote. I'm within a sober community, and they do Zoom calls, a la, AA calls, and they typically introduce a topic and do a reading at the beginning. And the recent one was, about taking a chance, living life without alcohol. And it's something we all essentially struggle with. Someone once said it's like living life with no skin. It's a scary thing. I like saying I used alcohol my entire adult life basically to cheat the system, so I didn't have to feel nerves or anxiety and liquid courage. Although come to learn it's complete opposite. I love the analogy of, would you ever take an anxiety pill that worked for 30 minutes and then made it worse? Because that's really what alcohol does, especially as the disorder progresses. For those of us that have it, it is a progressive disorder. So, I thought of the analogy of, the movie Shawshank Redemption. The older guy, Brooks, is due to get out, paroled, and he tries to reoffend so that they keep him in prison because he couldn't imagine his life, in the outside world. And, it's been said that the hardest prison to get out of is one with no bars, and that's what a lot of us with alcohol use disorder face. It's the door's right there. But, we step out on it on occasion, multiple day ones, hopefully day twos, day threes. But the majority of us ultimately reoffend, put ourselves, right back in prison. I heard a woman once say, why do I keep doing the hard part over and over? And it's so true. Part of the answer is because you got to have patience. I love to say, stay sober, stay patient. There's something I'll talk about in another call called the hedonic set point. Essentially relates to our pleasure baseline, and say it's at a level like this. As we drink and have artificial dopamine, it jacks up that pleasure baseline, and that's why we keep needing those dopamine hits to achieve it, the artificial dopamine hits. And when we quit drinking, it will lower, it'll eventually reset itself, but it takes time, and you have to be sober, and ideally you have to replace those artificial dopamine hits with real life hits. And I'll talk again more about that in the future call, but it's very important. So, I love another quote from a guy that said, I'm never going to have to get sober again. And it's true. Think about it. If you don't reoffend, you're only going to have to do that hard part one more time. And if you're in the throes of doing it, you've done it. And it does get easier. I recently said to my therapist, wow, I'm at 7 months now. And, I said to her, wow, life's so much easier than I remember. And life is still hard, but it's 1,000 times harder with alcohol. And, the grass is greener without it. And you eventually get comfortable with the uncomfortable, as I've heard said. And it's really true. And I'm at that point, right now. The other night, it was a Friday night. I attended a meeting. I shared on a meeting, which always gives me that. That's one of my, dopamine from home tricks, as well as cold shower finishes and exercise. And but it was later in the night. I'm brushing my teeth, and I felt this state of euphoria, as if you'd seen a heartfelt movie, and you still have that good feeling that carries with you. And I just felt that. Apparently, it's just my own life movie, which isn't all that glamorous at the moment. But my pleasure baseline is reset, and it doesn't take what it used to when I was in the throes of drinking to achieve happiness. So I can do it, you can do it, we can do it. Stay sober, stay patient.